So these guys are all doing great. Now Sora is the most ADD of the three, meaning she really needs to be busy, so she tends to try to find ways to cope with being still. She's always sniffing around or looking for something to eat or nibble on or just be excited by. But she's been in a down now for a few minutes, and she has done great, which is good news. And, we've been working on some healing here. Now we're going to do some downstays. These two are on place. Place is easier. I want to mention that because dogs just get accustomed to typically doing this on place, and so that gets easier and easier. And then when you take that place cot away, sometimes it's a little bit harder for them to just hold it down without the place cot. So Sora has a little bit more of a challenge, I think, than the other two. And also Hartley's been doing this for a long time, so she's pretty expert at it at this point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce Sora to some more challenges right now, and I'm going to kind of walk around and be exciting and just give her any feedback that she needs in terms of holding that down. So I'll tell her when she's good, very neutrally, and I will tell her with an NO and a little e-collar pressure if she makes a mistake. But I want her to learn to hold that down no matter what, and she's doing an amazing job right now. So before I turned the camera on, I did have to tap a few times for the frantic sniffing thing that she does. She'll put her nose to the rug and just sniff, 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 right? And so I don't care, guys. I don't care if the dog sniffs the rug. That's not the point. The point is I know Sora, and I know what she needs, and I know she's too excitable, and I know she has trouble settling. So that's one way to really go after that and address that and help her learn how to shut it off. And she looks like she's going to fall asleep right now, which is pretty good. But if I go knock on the wall right now, okay, and she can see me, but what most people don't realize, perked Hartley up a little, is that even if the dog can see you, just the sound of the knocking, they have an association with that. Most dogs have the association that when they hear knocking, there's somebody there. So sometimes we give the dog too much credit for being too smart, and sometimes we just don't give them enough credit for being really smart. I think this is one of those cases where we give the dog too much credit. They hear a knock, they associate that with someone at the door. So the fact that they can see you knocking doesn't matter until you do it a few times. Then they start to pick up that new pattern, right? That when they hear a knock and you're doing it, that doesn't mean someone's at the door. So your dog picks up patterns. That's normal. Good girl. Who's a good girl? So I'm going to talk a little more excitedly. Who's a good puppy? Oh, good job. I'm going to start using her name because she's doing great. Who's doing a good job, Sora? Good girl. So I'm just going to work her name into the sentence like that. Sora's a good girl. Sora's a good puppy. Good girl. And then I'm going to start crouching down right here. You can't see me, but I'm going to get lower and look into her eyes. Who's a good puppy? Oh, who's a good girl? Good job, baby. Good. I'm going to walk further away. Good. And then I'm going to jog by her, which is usually really hard for dogs. So I'm going to do a little bit of a jog. Good. She did great. Very impressed with her progress. So then I'm going to call her. Sora, come. Good girl. Sit. Yes. Good job.